Hi, my name is Lami Dome-Dome Yates. I'm TraXel's nurse coach. I'm a board certified health coach and registered nurse also. This is another episode of Holistic Approach to Wellness with MS. And today we will be talking about acupuncture and how it has helped me personally. And I realized that acupuncture is not for everyone, but really my intention was just to show you again my own personal journey and how it's helped, but also to just expose you and educate on another, possible modality that you could use. And I love that it is just a alternative type of medicine that I love that healthcare systems more and more are starting to embrace. And actually, my insurance actually covers up to 20 treatments, which is something I had no idea was even the case until I kind of did a little bit of research and looked into it. So just FYI, my insurance happens to cover up to 20 treatments. Of course, I have to pay co-pays every time. And, expense of it can add up, but still just another option to give you. I'm a very curious person and I do love to learn about anything and everything. And I feel like the more options we have and the more we know, the more we can make a better informed decision about our care. So I feel like that's super important. And I realized that acupuncture is not for everybody. So if you are one that is squeamish or does not like needles, this is definitely not an episode for you to watch because I will show what it looks like. I was mindful about it, so I'm not showing everything, but it is normally needles are head to toe, literally like on my scalp, forehead, behind my ears, some by my neck, etc., and again head to toe. But I'm not showing all of that. Just again to be mindful, but do not watch this episode if you do not like needles. But also just want to say too that my Wi-Fi was not the greatest with part of the recording as I was speaking with my doctor, so wasn't able to officially formally introduce her, but part of the clip will just have us discussing conversations halfway through. But either way, we will be talking about 3 important points of first, why should anybody even be interested in acupuncture or try it? 2, what is acupuncture? How does it work? And then 3, how is it even helpful for MS? And also just pointing to that, of course, acupuncture is for anything and everything. I know several people who don't have MS that use it for different things, hormone changes or pain management or many other things that are not just neurological or not just MS. So just putting that out there, it could be for anybody. But the next clip will actually show us again me talking to my doctor, and then also my actual appointment with me laying on the table, and then just kind of showing you what everything looks like. And so again, this is not sponsored at all, and this is just my own personal experience. Hi, so now I'm here at my clinic where I do acupuncture, and I just wanted to talk about what acupuncture is and with my doctor here and introduce you to her and what it's all about. And so again, I just want to be clear that, by no means, I'm obviously not a doctor. You guys know I'm a nurse coach. Just not giving any kind of medical advice, just sharing my personal journey and my experience, and really just want to educate you on other ways to support symptoms that you might be having and just kind of let you know what it's all about. So please, have you talked to yourself?
Okay, I am Dr. Ariane Shelton. I am an acupuncturist, like Lami said. and we're gonna try to give you some tips of what acupuncture might support.
Okay. So I personally have felt that acupuncture is super helpful for me in terms of it's helped with my energy levels. It's actually helped me with just in turn with that has helped me with just motivation of doing things. And if I'm being completely honest, it's helped me with like GI problems, like even constipation and bloating and like all these other things that we deal with, even my dizziness that I've talked about in the past too. I've also wanted to help it work with my limping. That's not helped yet, but it has helped with other areas like sleep, energy, and other things. So it has been super helpful in that sense. So yes, I just wanted to kind of talk to you about, like, first of all, how much training have you had? How did you even get into this? And what is acupuncture exactly?
Okay. So a little background on me. I did my undergraduate degree in exercise science or exercise physiology. So acupuncture, to be licensed in acupuncture, it does require an undergraduate degree and then graduate work. So that was my undergraduate work. And then I went on to do the acupuncture graduate program. For when I went through school, it was 3 years graduate year round, and you would come out with a master's degree, but it was as many credit hours as a doctorate, but it was a master's degree at the time. Graduates now are coming out with a doctorate degree because they realize that it was the work benefited that degree. So what I did is I did a little extra bridge program to then get up to the new standard and get my doctorate. So overall, I think it was like 6 years graduate is what I had to do.
Okay.
Some of it was part-time. I had some kids along the way. Yeah. But yeah, it was extensive training.
Okay, awesome. And like, how did you even get into acupuncture?
So I used to work for a chiropractor who had his certification. And he was actually getting his certification while I was working for him. I was doing like the exercise assistance with his patients and therapies and things like that. So that was my role. And I saw him kind of start his journey with acupuncture with a limited, the certification is a little bit more limited.
Yes.
But still, even with that, I got to see it work, and I got to see it was really cool. I mean, just sticking needles in people sounds insane, but it does wonderful things for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I think I want to try that.
Interesting. That is, because I honestly, I had no idea that like a chiropractor office would be doing something like that. And I guess it could be different for any office. And
it depends on the state too.
Okay.
So in Texas, I think they have the same thing where if you have a different type of medical degree, you can get a certification with a limited scope. Like California won't let you do that. Some other states won't let you do that. Okay. This was in Chicago at the time.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's right. I think we talked about Chicago. But and then so why should anybody even think about doing acupuncture?
Well, I mean, it's a very low risk modality too.
That's a good point.
Usually the worst side effects somebody will get will be soreness or bruising. So it's, like a low risk, usually a benefit. So it's worth a shot because it is, there's no pharmaceuticals. There's nothing really, no big real intervention. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, you're probably going to walk away feeling no different at the worst.
Yeah.
Maybe a little sore.
Yeah. And I think that's how I came into it too, is just thinking that like, let's just try it and go from there. And you even said, if you don't really see any difference within like a few times, 3 or 4 times, you said it's probably not going to work or something like that.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Yeah. So it's not like you have to do like this whole year or something and then it doesn't work. But so it's just, you can still just try it out a few times.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in my opinion, if you do find someone that says you need to come for 6 months, to get any result, or, your journey is going to take that long, oh no, you can't just see a few, get a few visits and see improvement, then I would look elsewhere.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I think that was really helpful for me when you said that, because I didn't feel like you were just selling me on it.
Well, it's good to set expectations too.
Yeah.
With patients, but I would want to hear that as a patient. I'm like, what can I expect? How long is this going to take? Like, how long do I need to like hold out to see if something happens? Versus like, should we be talking about moving on to something else?
Yeah, and of course, like people always want to like know like a plan of some sort, just what they're getting into and whatnot. So that's awesome. Yeah, so I also just want to talk too about how it can support, well, people in general, because I would still like this to be used for anybody who would want to use acupuncture for any condition.
Sure.
But specifically for MS, and again, I'm not saying that this is a cure, anything at all for MS or any condition, but it is supportive in conjunction with your regular treatments or whatever you would be doing with your doctors and providers.
Absolutely.
But so yes, how could it support, we'll say MS, for example, with symptoms like we've talked about?
Okay, so for MS specifically, it can be used as a good tool for pain management for people that do have pain with their MS. I've had patients have some success with that. Again, it's a management. Like you said, it's not a cure, but I mean, they always tell us that acupuncture is not a cure for anything. Right. It's always management.
Yeah.
Does that mean a problem can't resolve with acupuncture? It can, depending on what it is. But it's just irresponsible to go around and say, oh, I'm going to cure your back pain or we're going to manage it. And it might come back in a year or two because you moved a box, Yeah. So another good expectation, just we're going to manage symptoms, especially with something like MS, which is, as you know, complicated. Sometimes, like we've been working on, it can help with motor function, but not always. That is one that is a little more hit and miss. But acupuncture in general usually is really good for the mood as well.
Yes.
And with long-lasting effects often. So most people feel really good while they're here, and they are not sure if it's going to carry forward in between treatments. But we usually see that it does start to affect mood in between treatments and last between treatments with a few visits. So I mean that can help any health condition. If you're less stressed or you just feel better, your well-being is better in general, you'll be able to deal with whatever you're dealing with better.
Yeah, and I love that because we've talked about a lot on this podcast and on the website in general, just about fatigue is being huge. We were talking about mood changes, like I kind of went through that earlier this year. But there's so many things that it can help for, like in the big scope of things that I love, because even if it's not even fixing 3 or 4 things, like even one thing, like just energy or mood is huge. It can be huge.
Yes, it can.
And then for me, like even helping with the energy level, it just kind of helped snowball into more and more things that helped me. So I was sleeping a little bit better. So of course that made my mood just a little bit better. And of course then I was able to actually do things like want to exercise more. And that's actually been huge for me. I've been able to do that last few months, which is amazing. I mean, I'm not saying that everything is perfect and then like I don't have bad days for sure. But overall, in general, it has helped me, I feel like. Which is really good. And so I wanted to just talk about how, so normally, I don't know if you can hear a little bit of the music, but it is calming, and the lights are turned down, so it's like dimmed lighting and it's really relaxing. And then I usually just lay here for 30 minutes with the needles. And so we're just going to talk about what they look like and that part.
All right. So like Lami and I were talking about that people usually hear the word needle and they kind of freak out and just don't want to hear any more about it if you have a problem with needles. But they're actually more like little tiny stick pins, and hopefully you can see.
Yeah, there you go. That's better.
Oops, I don't know how to camera.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
You
can see it, and I will show you that they can even bend.
Yeah.
Because they're so flexible.
Yeah, that's a big difference too that I want to point out is like she was saying, I get that how needles can be scary, but they're so like flimsy or flexible that it kind of I don't know, I feel like that makes a difference too. I don't know if that would help anybody just know that the needles aren't that scary. And they're not painful. They, like, to be honest, sometimes you can feel like little pricks, but it's kind of like just little pinches. So just tiny little pricks, basically. So again, not painful. You just notice like little pinches or little pricks. So just saying.
Yeah, I mean, these needles are so thin; they are about the size of like a thick hair. It's much smaller than fishing line, but about a thick hair, you would say, right?
Yeah.
Maybe just a little thicker. And they are solid. So a needle that you would, if you're thinking of getting an injection or something like that, they're hollow, and those are more painful because of the way they enter the skin. And these needles being solid and pointy with no hole in the middle, they kind of move the skin a little better, and that makes it a lot more comfortable too.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, because that's what I'm used to, are the ones with the hollow, obviously trying to access blood or something. But okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and not only are those bigger, but having that, hole in the middle causes more pain.
Yeah, okay. I didn't think about that. So yeah, hopefully that's not too scary for you or anything. But yes, I was just gonna show you too with the next video. I'll show like my next treatment of what it looks like, and then kind of just show you how it is with me laying on the table and whatnot. So anyway, I was just going to say thank you so much
thanks for having me
talking to me and talking to us about acupuncture. I really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you wanting me to come on, and hopefully your viewers will get some info and inspiration, get inspired by it.
All right, thank you all. I'll show you guys the next video.
Hi, so I am actually at my appointment doing my acupuncture right now. Just kind of wanted to show you, I'll show you with the lights on in a second so you can actually see the needle. It's in my arms, you can't really see. I'll show it with the lights on in a sec. But they do the needles, and then I lay here for about 30 minutes with the lights off like this. It's really soothing. I don't know if you can hear the music, but it's super calming. And I just kind of rest and close my eyes for a little bit. But again, we'll turn on the lights and come back in a sec. I just want to show you what it looks like when you're just resting with the needles in place. Okay, hi. So the lights are back on. I showed you a little bit of what it was like with the mood all nice and relaxing. But here, now that the light is on, I don't know. Can you put your clipboard so that they can maybe see?
Maybe make a little bit better.
I don't know if that helps. Anyway, actually your scrub tops with background help.
Oh, does that help? Okay.
Yeah. So you can see like some of the needle sticking out there, and then it is on my legs too. You guys can see that, but, so it's not, hopefully it's not too scary, but it's not that bad. And there was a couple like on my forehead, and sometimes it's like behind my ear and whatnot, but I didn't want to really freak people out, so I didn't show that. But it's literally just, again, on my hands and arms and then head to toe. But okay, so I'm with Dr. Ariane again, and I was just going to ask you, so in general terms, I know acupuncture is super complicated, but like in basic terms, what is it essentially?
And like, how does it work?
How does it work? Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're not 100% sure exactly why it works. There are some things we know it does, and then there are other ways it works on the body that we haven't quite pinned down what it actually is affecting yet. But one of the big things it does is it increases blood flow to the area where the needle is. So if you're treating pain, that can be very good for reducing inflammation or even spasticity of a muscle. So you can treat trigger points with it as well. If you are treating something a little more complicated, or internal medicine, or like stress, anxiety, the points you pick will give the body a certain signal. And the theory is that it works along the nerve pathways, and it will even influence your central nervous system somewhat. So your body will release different biochemicals to kind of self-regulate processes that might be a little out of whack. And with that comes, good feelings. Some people get euphoria. Some people just feel better. There seems to be a serotonin component to it as well. But it does seem to help with the natural painkillers of the body. So again, if you're treating pain, it's good for that. But if you're treating other things, it seems to work mostly, I would say, in short, along with the nervous system to just kind of re-signal some things.
Okay. Yes.
Hopefully that made sense.
Yes, that totally makes sense.
Okay.
And I was just going to say again, yes, it does. It's obviously not a cure or anything, but helps with symptom management. And as she was saying, pain, it has helped me a little bit with my dizziness and my GI issues, like even constipation, bloating. Has helped me with my energy and sleep. And so again, like it's not, I mean, obviously I'm not like 100% and all better all the way, but it does help even like 10%, 15% better, which is, I can't complain about that. So, but yeah, I was just going to say, I appreciate you going over all that with me.
Of course.
And thank you for having us.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I was going to say, anybody that has questions or comments, please discuss it and post it on the forum, or you can contact me on mytraxel.com. Please. Have a great day.